Untouchables!
Part 1. Lightning never strikes the same place twice. Now, lightning is an electrical discharge created by the friction of billions of ice particles bumping into each other inside clouds. Positive and negative ions start to line up inside the cloud, and when a sympathetic charge builds up in ground level, this charge starts to pass through the ionized air. This takes the form of what we know as a lightning bolt. Now, this process takes milliseconds, and this charge immediately reverberates back up to the cloud, so technically, lightning is already striking twice. It's just going so fast that we can't see it. It's definitely more common for lightning to strike certain areas than others. So, for example, skyscrapers. The Empire State Building, for example, is struck by lightning between 20 and 25 times every single year. And this is simply because it's literally closer to the sky. It's worth noting that while lightning is intensely powerful, reaching temperatures 5 times hotter of that of the surface of the sun, it's still not always lethal. One man, a park ranger from America, was struck by lightning 7 times during his life and managed to survive every single time. Too many sweets will give you a sugar rush. You might be familiar with the idea that if you feed kids too many sweets, they'll go crazy, they'll get hyperactive, get a sugar rush, right? Well, there's no correlation between the sugar intake and the behaviour of children. In fact, we've known this for some time. So, if it's not true, where does this myth come from? Well, something worth considering is that sweets and cakes were often bestowed on special occasions in which children are already excited, or the sweets and cakes are seen as rewards, which can lift their mood and lead to a change in their behaviour. So, parents, next time you throw a birthday party, maybe consider feeding them, I don't know, carrot sticks or fruit. And if they're still excited, then you'll see my point. Cracking your knuckles leads to arthritis. This was tried and tested by Dr. Donald Unger, who cracked the knuckles on only his left hand every day for 60 years. Neither hand developed arthritis. Cracking effort. The cracking in your knuckle is called crepitus, and crepitus comes from gas bubbles in the fluid surrounding your joints, which is called synovial fluid, being released. Crepitus is harmless, and it doesn't signal a health problem unless it's accompanied by swelling, immobility, or pain. There is a downside though. Knuckle cracking can lead to having a slightly weaker grip and swelling in the hands, according to one study. You might have heard the idea that if you pick food up within a couple of seconds, then it's completely clean and completely safe to eat. Well, a scientist named Dr. Cutler of the Queen Mary University of London conducted a study into this very idea, and they found that all food dropped was contaminated in some way. Whether you picked it up within 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or even immediately, all food was similarly contaminated. It is true, however, that the longer a piece of food stays on the floor, the more bacteria they will collect. So, as much as we'd like to think that bacteria is patiently counting to 5 until it touches the food we drop, sorry guys, I'm afraid it's in a hurry.
The human tongue experiences taste in different areas.
The taste map of the tongue has been debunked. The human tongue does not experience taste as we once thought. This map suggests that the ability to taste sweet, salty, sour, and bitter was confined to different areas of the tongue. The receptors that pick up the tastes are actually distributed across the entire thing. The map comes from a 1901 paper by a German scientist named David P. Harnig. Now, Harnig set out to measure the threshold for taste perception around the edges of the tongue by dropping stimuli corresponding to sweet, to salty, to sour, and to bitter in intervals around edges of the tongue. The study suggested that the edges of the tongue was more perceptive than others to specific tastes. However, they could still taste them. Harnig presented his results in a graph that plots the relative change of sensitivity for each taste from one point to the next, but not against other tastes. The graph was then reimagined by Harvard psychology professor Edwin G. Boring. But anyway, Boring's version also had no meaningful scale, leading to each taste's most sensitive area being sectioned off in what we now know as the tongue map. Bye.